Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clip Money's live company overview webinar. This is David Vidala from RBMG. Clip is listed on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol CLIP. Joining us today is the company's co-founder and CEO, Joe Arrage, and their CFO, Andrew Tussing, who will be going through Clip's company overview presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will open it up for questions for management to address. If you are interested in asking a question and are logged into the Zoom app or web platform, you can submit your questions to us directly in the Q&A module. Please note this presentation is being recorded today, Thursday, June 16th, 2022, and will soon be made available on the company's website at clipmoney.com. Today's call may contain forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results, performance, or developments to differ materially from those contained in the statements and are not guarantees of future performance of the company. No assurance can be given that any of the events anticipated by the forward-looking statements will occur, or if they do occur, what benefits the company will obtain from them. Also, some risks and uncertainties may be out of the control of the company. Clip has a full disclaimer on pages 2 and 3 of the presentation. Lastly, RBMG is not a registered investment advisor or broker-dealer. For more information, please visit rbmilestone.com. And now I'll hand it off to Joe. Joe, the stage is yours.
Thanks, David. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy day to join us here today. Again, I'm Joseph Arrage. I'm CEO and co-founder of Clip. And I'm here today to walk you through a corporate overview. So bear with me here. So we built Clip to be in service to businesses. Businesses today are facing unprecedented challenges. And at Clip, our sole focus is to solve these challenges by developing technology-led solutions to problems that have been until now overlooked. Every product that Clip brings to market will be aligned with that focus. I've spent over 20 years in the payments industry running ATMs for the largest retailers and banks in Canada. And what's been really apparent to me, especially over the last 5 years or so, as banks began closing their branches and transforming other branches to become cashless to save costs and to create more efficiency in their branches, is that their business customers have been negatively impacted. 90% of businesses need their bank branch to do deposits. They do these transactions multiple times a week, and they typically spend about an hour per deposit to do these transactions. A key characteristic of a business deposit is that the large majority of these business deposits are actually conducted by employees of the business. So any type of labor savings associated with that is a direct savings because these employees are hourly paid workers. And, this cannot be understated, right? We have a real opportunity here to claim back a lot of time for businesses. There's quite a large gap with how convenient banking is for consumers versus businesses. And at Clip, we're going to bridge the gap. Our mission is to provide cost-effective, the most cost-effective, the most convenient network and banking services that are outside of the bank branch. And our success is critical to businesses and to their banks who we partner with to offer our services. The cash market itself is still very significant, and it represents roughly 1/3 of all in-person payments, thus making this a problem that is very much worth solving with our first-to-market solution. So there are several market trends that I think are worth highlighting here. As I just mentioned, there's a lot of cash transactions that are still in the market and that really need to be managed in a more efficient way. The second is that branches are closing at a rapid rate. Last year alone, there was a 38% jump in branch closures in the United States, and we anticipate this trend to continue for the foreseeable future. And what this is doing is that it is continuously applying more and more pressure to these businesses that these branches serve. Additionally, businesses are seeing, labor shortages that they're grappling with. They're grappling with inflation, so cost increases. While these are all tailwinds for our business model, what's happening here is the business is finding itself right in the middle, getting pressure from all sides, And there really just needs to be a better way for them to conduct this time-consuming, costly transaction. I'm going to expand a little bit in short order here about my comment on saving time businesses. Our first to market solution enables businesses to use our modern mobile app to deposit their cash in our Clip drop safes that are installed in convenient locations like malls, like retailers, instead of having to go to the bank branch. And what's important here is that for the first time, many businesses banking with any bank can deposit their funds into the same device and receive next day credit. And they do this by only signing up for our service and paying us a low transaction fee without having to sign up for a long-term commitment or fixed fee contracts. So in addition to being a much better transaction and having a much better transaction experience, saving time and money, I believe that we're providing a tremendous amount of personal value to our users. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet a manager of a quick service restaurant in the Greater Toronto area in Canada. And this gentleman manages an A&W franchise. He used to go to the bank 3 to 4 times a week, spending on average round trip of an hour per visit. And it was inconvenient because he had to get there before 5 o'clock before the branch closed. Now, this gentleman now is getting 3 to 4 hours a week back. And in this busy world, getting 10% of your time back could mean making it to your kid's soccer game or spending those 3 to 4 extra hours managing your business where there's a lot of value for these small businesses. Now, I think that this value is really hard to quantify on an income statement, but I can tell you that every time we speak to a customer, it is real to them and it is very important to them. So our business model really provides unparalleled efficiency. So in the branch deposit model that is, on the left-hand side of this slide, not that 90% of businesses use, a business has to go to the bank branch of the bank that they bank with. So in other words, if you bank with Bank X, you cannot go to the branch of Bank Y to do your deposit. Now, this is a really costly model. It's a model that's been in place since the inception of physical currency, if you can imagine. And it requires a branch, it requires in-branch personnel, and it requires this person, the in-branch staff, to process this manual transaction that's accompanied by a paper deposit slip. It's high in capital, it's high in labor, and it offers limited number of locations. Our plan at Clip is to deploy over 15,000 self-service access points across Canada and the US. And to put this into context, the largest banks in North America have 4,000 to 5,000 branches each. So at scale, Clip is even more convenient than the largest banks in North America. Now, if you've been following the cash management industry, you may have noticed a significant level of investment over the last 12 to 18 months in what we call the smart safe industry, and that's in the middle of the slide. What a smart safe is it's a safe that is typically installed in the back office of, in many cases, a larger retailer for their exclusive use of their deposits. Now, this is a really good service for the top part of the market, maybe the top 10 or 15%. But what we are targeting with our solution is the large part of the market that cannot afford this solution and that are currently using the bank branch network. So we've identified an opportunity to address a gap that the bank branch and the smart safe model left behind. We knew there had to be a better way, and oops, hang on a sec here. Push the wrong button. The future really lies in shared infrastructure that's supported by our payment network. And for the first time, we're able to really democratize non-branch deposit access, making it more affordable, making it more convenient than ever before to conduct this age-old transaction called the cash deposit. So this is a pretty busy slide. There's a lot going on here, so I'm going to try my best to simplify it. This is really showing the in-person payments ecosystem. The market, any given market, is typically broken up like this: a third debit, a third credit, and a third cash. And as you can see, the debit and the credit market are it's really crowded and it's quite competitive. Now, when a consumer spends cash at a business, that cash is ultimately deposited into their bank account. And up until now, the only two options available to a business were either to, contract an armored carrier, which most businesses cannot afford, or they deposit at the bank branch. So, the clip drop system and the clip network offer a viable alternative to the bank branch. And as you can see, there's a lot of white space. The market is very large and there's a lot of space for us to grow into. Our business model is and revenue model is scalable and it's simple. We recruit users two ways. The first is through direct signups or through recruitment efforts with wonderful partnerships like we've established with Simons, Mall Properties, and Staples. And the second is by a user's bank. So we call these banks that help us in the recruitment effort subscribing or member banks. As a result, we generate two types of fees. We generate transaction fee revenue that's either paid for by the user in the case of a direct sign up, or by the bank in the case of a subscribing bank customer. Additionally, we generate fixed fee revenue when a bank subscribes to a key market like Massachusetts or the New York Metro. They'll pay us a fixed fee for access to that market. Now, banks and users are pretty familiar with this model. We're not inventing a new fee model. This is something that they're very accustomed to in the ATM segment. So we feel quite good about that. Banks leverage our system for two main reasons. So they leverage us in markets where they're looking to maybe downsize their branch footprint. So they leverage us to help minimize the impact to their businesses as they're shutting down branches. Or in growth markets where they want to grow into a market, but they may not have enough a branch network to support the growth initiatives. So our system is quite versatile. Now, most importantly, we've structured our user agreements to be helpful to businesses. Again, we do not ask our customers to sign long-term contracts. We do not ask them to pay us fixed fees. It's a low-cost, on-demand service that saves our customers anywhere from 30 to 60%, which is attractive to businesses. If a business deposits, they pay. And if they don't deposit, they don't pay. It's relatively simple. So we have a few important highlights on this slide that I'd like to walk through. They include location, bank, operating, and sales partnerships. Installing our service in malls is highly strategic. There's a lot of businesses within walking distance of our clip drop that creates a compelling value proposition for those users. And we have strong traction in the segment. We've secured two partnerships with the two of the largest mall owner operators in the United States, who's Simons and Brookfield. In addition to these partnerships, we have numerous other mall relationships that we've secured, and with folks like Oxford and RioCan in Canada. And what I'm very pleased with as well is that we have a strong sales pipeline to support our growth initiatives into this space that's very strategic for us. Secondly, Staples, we announced a few days ago that Staples is a new partner of ours. They're a premium location partner who is also helping us in our marketing efforts to nearby businesses around their stores. We love this brand. We love our customer segment alignment with Staples, and we're very excited to roll out with Staples in key markets. We'll speak a little bit more about Staples in a few slides. We're working with banks as well to have their customers use our network instead of going to the bank branch. And we have a top 5 bank in Canada who's referring their clients to our network. And we have a pipeline of other banks that we're working with to roll out similar programs and pilots over the coming months to years. Now, we have a very important and a very strategic partnership with Brinks, who's a market leader in the cash management and logistics space. So they are operating our clip drop boxes. And this partnership has them providing fulfillment, capital for the hardware, and provisional credit to our users. Now, their contribution is significant to the enablement of both Clip and Brinks gaining share in this branch-based deposit market in a new and innovative way. And last and certainly not least, we have a newly minted partnership with Glory. Glory is a global leader in bank branch automation technology. They provide, cash management equipment like sophisticated cash recyclers and software to banks globally, and they have a very strong presence here in North America. As a company, Glory has a strong track record of innovating and provided trusted solutions to some of the largest banks in the world. And, we are obviously very excited to partner with them. We've recently announced that Glory has invested in our last financing and that we've secured a strategic commercial partnership with Glory that is focused on bank partnership growth. So, Clip at this stage has established the right foundational blue chip partners to enable our long-term success. Our management team. Now, I speak openly about assembling the best management team in the industry to execute on this plan. This team is highly accomplished. The team has deep experience in operating businesses, building businesses, spanning from startup to maturity phase. Additionally, the team is quite well balanced, and we have, strong experience, in payments and ATM operations, financial service product development, banking, technology. We feel really good about where we are with the team. I feel very good about where we are with the team. And, this is a group that has never settled for the status quo at any organization they've ever been at. They've, constantly made change for the better. And I'm very excited to have this team aboard with us here to execute on our plan. We have a simple and modern user experience that takes a customer intuitively through the everyday task of depositing. So we've transformed this paper-based, costly process of depositing that's used in banks and night depositories today, and we've digitized it to provide better transparency, better notifications, better awareness of the deposit, and faster funding into their account, into our customer's account. I mentioned a few slides ago that we have a partnership with Staples, and that we're very excited about this partnership. And we're excited for several reasons. One is I believe that we have a shared purpose of helping businesses, and that's very important to us and to our customers. And that they have wonderful, convenient locations to many businesses. They locate their stores in really good areas that are very convenient to many businesses around them. Additionally, they've got a strong innovation culture, and they provide products and services that help small businesses run more efficiently, and there's great alignment there. And having Staples as our anchor retail partner and marketing partner as well will really help Clip extend the reach across many markets to many businesses. Now, this is by far the most important slide, and it is the most important topic. It's our customers, right? Businesses that use Clip are really happy with Clip. Here's an example of 2 QSR franchisees that are benefiting from our service. I think their testimonial provides a really good summary of our value proposition. They're saving time, they're saving money, they're improving their cash flow, just because they're using a clip drop that happens to be nearby their store. So Chick-fil-A migrated from a Armored Carrier and SmartSafe program, saving them a significant amount of time, and also saving them a significant amount of money. Actually, sorry, the time was something that is obviously there, but it was about the cash flow savings as well. And we're really improving the reliability of their cash management system. In the case of Harvey's, who's a Canadian hamburger franchise, they were driving over 30 kilometers, which is equivalent to 19 miles to their bank multiple times a week. Now, this must have been remarkably costly, time consuming, and not to mention frustrating. So in the end, Clip is delivering strong value to businesses, and that value is only going to get stronger as branches continue to decline. So David, that's our overview for the day. At this point, I'll probably turn it back to you now.
All right, great. Thank you, Joe. And if you're interested in asking a question and are logged into the Zoom app or web platform, you can submit your question to us directly in the Q&A module. While we wait for that to develop, we have received some preliminary questions through the registration process, and we can begin now. Joe, are you ready?
I am.
All right. So Joe, what do you think the biggest threats are to successfully execute your business plan this year?
That's a good question. Let me answer it by first speaking about what I feel good about. I feel good about our technology. I feel good about our team. And I feel really good about our ability to execute and secure good, convenient locations. Now, the recruitment, like user recruitment pace, is something that we're very focused on at this point. But I feel really good about our strategy and our established partnerships to execute on these recruitment efforts. We have retailers like Staples and mall owners like Simon's that are helping participate in the recruitment efforts. We're in discussions with and active partnership discussions with some of the largest banks in the world who have tremendous reach. We have an invested partner like Glory, who's focused on helping us grow our bank partnership business, part of our business. So I would say, in short, the biggest threat would be time, but we have a lot of folks who are invested in the interest of our success, who are working in lockstep with us, David, and we have a multi-threaded approach to this. And when I say time, this is a large opportunity. Deploying 15,000 units, doing relatively conservative transaction assumptions that we know from the ATM segment. This is a $200 million plus opportunity over the course of 5 years. So it's and we're not talking a long time here, right?
No, exactly. Thank you. So Joe, you mentioned Clip having the first mover advantage. Who would you say are your current competitors?
It's another good question. So when we think about our current competitors, we don't believe we have any current direct competitors who are really looking to democratize deposit access at the lowest cost. Future entrants could potentially be from the ecosystem itself, but these organizations typically have a vested interest in the status quo. So change for them will be hard naturally. But at this stage, I believe that we don't really have any, natural competitors.
Well, that's great. Next question. If you could execute on a specific strategic investor today, who would you say it would be?
Well, listen, strategic investment, if you look at our past financing history, strategic investment is certainly an option and will always be an option. And quite frankly, it's a focus part of our strategy. We would typically prioritize strategic investment from the demand side of the equation. So somebody bringing us, users, locations, revenue over anything else. But it's something that, obviously is on our radar and we think about.
Gotcha. How do you see yourself fitting into the crypto ecosystem?
So I'm not going to get into future products and roadmap on this call here, but what I can share definitively is that Clip's mission is to provide better and improved financial services access to businesses out of the bank branch, and as a outcome of our mission, we are constantly looking at new ways to solve problems to improve business operations. And the platform itself is purpose-built to be able to support and bolt on new transactions. Crypto is clearly something that is on our radar. And it's one of the numerous other products that we are looking at, something that we're evaluating.
Great, thank you. How long do you think a cash-based world to digital world will take?
I can't tell you how many times I get that question, David. So let me first start with what we know, right? We know that there are a lot of cash transactions and there's a lot of cash in the economy today, right? We just talked about it representing 1/3 of all in-person payments. Second, we know that notes in circulation have been increasing over GDP over the last 9 to 10 years. So there's more notes than we've ever had. I guess third, we know that in uncertain times, economic times, people have historically turned back to cash, and I don't see why that would change in any potential or future uncertain time that we'd have now. And the fourth is we know that the unbanked and the underbanked portion of the population, and especially in the US, is a significant size. So with all of that, we also know that cash usage has been slowly declining at the retail point of sale and that's primarily driven by the fact that there's many more ways to pay than there ever has been. But given what we know, and given what we know, we expect this to be here for a long period of time. In fact, the slow decline of cash actually puts more pressure on the branch servicing infrastructure, which is good for us in the long run.
Gotcha. All right, well, we have time for one more question, and this is a live question. So
Okay,
can you comment on, will you be offering change orders with your solution?
So yes, change orders. Change orders is certainly something that is on our roadmap. It is something that is actually top of the priority list. It is something that we are very focused on. If you look at the going back to that A&W example that we just spoke to earlier, where the manager is going to the bank branch 3 to 4 times a week, 1 out of those 3 to 4 times, he's actually picking up change. So it's important to us to be able to offer a full turnkey solution. In fact, we've got people kind of lining up for a beta with us on that as we speak. But basically every customer that we speak to is showing some level of interest in change order. So the answer is yes.
Terrific. All right. Well, thank you, Joe. And thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Today's webinar recording will soon be made available on Clip's website. If you have any additional questions that have not been addressed on this webinar, please feel free to email us at clipmoney@rbmilestone.com. Again, that's clipmoney@rbmilestone.com. Thanks again, and you're now free to disconnect.
Thank you, everybody.